Welcome to the course on philosophical orientations to education. My name is Ariel Sykes, and I will be your instructor for this asynchronous course. This video is intended to walk you through the Canvas course page so that you know how to access all that you need to be successful in this course. Currently, we are viewing the home screen, where you will also find links for everything that you need to know to complete this course. Each week's modules, the course schedule, the course syllabus, as well as the page that will get you to each module. You will also learn about the course, which is a philosophy of education course that's interested in looking at the nature, goals, and practices of education and approaching it from a philosophical point of view, to examine what we take for granted in education and to imagine what might be possible in reimagining a better form of education for both teachers, students, families, and communities. The goal of this course is for you to begin to ask questions and examine a variety of perspectives, including your own, in order to develop your own ideas, positions, and solutions around the different topics of education, such as the role of the teacher, the role of the student, what should be taught in schools, and how. This course will enhance your ability to think critically on your own and with others as it pertains to these topics within education, as well as introduce you to key philosophical figures of education and primary source texts that will promote your understanding of these concepts. I would suggest that before you begin going through the modules of this course, that you look at the course syllabus, which we will look at quickly together right now. All of the readings for this course will be conducted through something called perusal, which we'll discuss and I'll show you briefly how to work through. There is a course schedule that breaks down course activities for each week, as well as due dates. It's important to note that your readings are due by 10 p.m. on Wednesdays, and all other material for the course is generally due by 11:59 on Sundays. You will be asked to engage in discussion boards for each part of each week, in which case your first post within that discussion board is due on Thursday of each week. Feel free to reach out to me, not through Canvas Conversations, but through Gmail at any point during the course if you have any questions. We will look at each questions briefly. If you're interested in learning how you will be graded for this course, here's a breakdown of how much each part of the course is weighted. You'll be engaging in discussion conversations in small groups each week, as well as quizzes on the course readings and mini lecture videos. You will be engaged in one current event and research task. Each week you'll have 2 readings and have required reading annotation work for each of those readings through something called perusal, which we'll get to shortly. At the end of the course, you'll have a final paper or presentation, your choice. Each week you'll be asked to reflect independently on something we've learned in class, as outlined specifically by the journal prompts. And at the beginning of the trimester, you're going to engage in a self-interview to assess where you are and what you think about these particular philosophical questions we'll be exploring in this class. And at the end of the course, you'll be asked to engage in a self-reflection process where you'll connect what you thought to what you learned and to develop and share where you have gained an understanding. If you want to know more about what each part of these assignments is supposed to be and what's expected of you, you can go through here. You can also look at the course syllabus itself. And in your course syllabus, you'll be able to see the rubrics for each of the assignments as well. The course summary in terms of due dates can be found on this syllabus page at the very bottom, which lists all of the due dates. If you are a person who would prefer to look at a calendar, you can also go to your calendar over here. And the course syllabus as a printable file has all the rubrics for each part of your assignments. All right, so let's jump into what the modules look like for each of the course weeks. Before we get to our first module, make sure that you engage in the Get to Know You discussion board post. We are briefly going to share a little bit about yourself as explained here, as well as a photo of yourself. Okay, so for during week, let's look at week 1 to give you a sense of how this course will be laid out. At the beginning of each module, you'll see a summary of what each week will be focusing on, as well as suggestions of the order in which you should complete your assignments. There will be an outline of learning objectives, as well as a clear list of what is required in each module. You'll see in our first week of course, you're expected to review the course syllabus, post in the Get to Know You discussion board, submit your self-interview, as well as complete the reading and video lectures for Module 1 and the 2 readings, and then check your understanding by completing the 2 quizzes, and then participate in a discussion board with your small group. So we suggest that you work through each module by clicking Next. Everything will be saved automatically, and you'll see that the first thing that you'll be asked to do is a self-interview. Then you'll be asked to engage in some readings and watching some videos that explain the readings. Here's a way to download the readings directly to computer. However, remember, your annotations for the readings are going to be conducted through perusal, which you'll access through the module pages up here in a little bit. For the lecture video content, you'll see that there'll be tabs. Some will have optional videos as well as optional readings that are not required, but are there for you to continue developing your understanding or interest as you see fit. So for Module 1, you'll notice that you have 2 videos, lectures. In general, each video lecture is about 20 minutes. The lecture overview will tell you all of the material that will be covered in each lecture. This one covers the material in our first assigned reading for Module 1, and then this one outlines the key ideas in the second reading. After each video module, you'll get to the place where you'll be asked to engage in your reading annotations. It is important that you access your readings on perusals initially through each module tab, because this will allow there to be a link set up between the module annotations on perusal and the grading component of Canvas. So what I would do as a student is I would click this button here to open up perusal. Perusal is a software that allows you to work in groups to annotate and take notes. For each reading, you'll be asked to annotate 3 separate times within one reading. 2 of those annotations should be focused on content. So maybe you're paraphrasing something, you're providing an example of something in the text, or you're connecting to a class concept or another author that we've read about. The third annotation for each reading must ask a question. Perhaps you need support for understanding something and you're asking a question to your peer, or perhaps you're asking a question for further discussion, something that we might be able to explore during our discussion boards. It's important that when you post a question on perusal that you use the hashtag question so that they're easily accessible to all peers. If you're interested in learning more about perusal, please watch the instructional video when you log into your first perusal account. Once you complete your reading, you'll go on to the next page of the module. In this case, the next page is your second reading. Again, remember to access it first through this tab so that it sets up the assignment, which can be graded and linked to Canvas. So I'd click here to open up my perusal reading. After you've completed your reading and video lecture, you'll be asked to participate in a discussion board. Often the discussion boards will be set up so that small groups have different questions to answer. So in this case, number 1 is assigned to group number 1, number 2 is assigned to group number 2, and you'll be asked to collaboratively work on answering the prompts within your selected group questions. For each discussion, you are required to post a minimum of 3 times. After you've engaged in your discussion post, you can start to begin to take the quiz. As you will see that this quiz has 6 questions, and you'll work your way through the quiz to answer the separate questions, and then press submit once you're done. And then you'll go on to the second quiz that's associated with the reading and the lecture video for that quiz. Once you see a red progress bar that goes all the way down and you've reviewed to make sure that you've completed each step, then you will have finished your first module for the course. If you're interested in learning about which groups you are in for discussion boards for each module, you can go to the People's portion of Canvas and look at the organization of groups. So you'll notice that you'll be assigned to discussion groups for each module, as well as your current event groups. Current event groups are a one-time assignment in which the selected individuals are in charge of completing the current event project for their assigned date. So current event group and research group number 1 will have the first assignment that's due, which can be found on the assignments outlined on Canvas. You'll find at the bottom of the module pages some optional opportunities for you to engage in preparing for your final project. Final project live meetings. I will be offering a series of editing workshops and brainstorming workshops for your final project during Module 5 and Module 7 of this course. If you are interested in doing these live meetings, make sure that you sign up and attend the Zoom sessions, but you can also do them independently by following the directions on your own. Again, if you ever want to meet one-on-one with me, please feel free to email me and we can set up a time to chat over Zoom. As you work through the different parts of the module, the assignments will provide the directions that you need to be successful. If anything is confusing and you would like clarity, feel free to shoot me a question, and I will be posting the general questions I get on the Getting Started page of Canvas so that all students have access to the clarity that they need to be successful in this course. I hope that this course is engaging and relevant to your career, and I look forward to learning together with you this semester.